Welcome, world. You're listening to Bobby G's Break Room with your favorite first cousin, Bobby G. Bobby G's Break Room is a podcast that will provide you with authentic conversation and the unfiltered truth about various topics and events that are happening in the world today. Here in the Break Room, you will hear in-depth commentary on the latest news, hottest topics, and trending stories in the world of entertainment, sports, politics, and social media. So turn your volume up and lean in to listen to what's going on in the Break Room.
Welcome, world, to Bobby G's Break Room. This is your host, your favorite first cousin, Bobby G, and we have a great show lined up for you today. As you know, the Break Room is a place where you're going to have authentic conversation about trending topics that's going on in the world of entertainment, sports, world news, and social events. So what your favorite first cousin needs you to do is lean in real close, turn your volume up, and listen to what's happening in the break room. Now, we're going to go ahead and jump right into the big three. As you know, the big three are three topics that I like to talk about that's happening in the world today. And the first thing up to bat is the world with Russia and the Ukraine. The war with Russia and Ukraine. As we know right now, the war with Russia and Ukraine is still taking place. And what we're going to ask that you do is continue to support our troops. We do believe that at some point in time that our U.S. soldiers will have to deploy. And we want to make sure that our soldiers have all the support that they need. So we're going to ask you to go to Sandbox, that's SANDBOXX, and send your soldier a message, send them a care package. And we're going to ask that you also reach out to soldiers that you might not even know to make sure you send them information and let them know that we do care about them and we are supporting them. Also, speaking of Russia, an update with Brittany Griner. Brittany Griner, she's still being detained in Russia. The WNBA now has created a hashtag, Bring Brittany Home. So I'm going to say congratulations to the WNBA for reaching out to try to bring in one of their own. Brittany, we hope that you make it home safe. And then when you do get home and after all this is behind you, your favorite first cousin is definitely going to ask you to come on the break room so we can have a conversation about what happened and why you were detained in the whole nine. So Brittany, we're asking that you stay safe, but we definitely want you to come home in the very near future. Okay, in the sports world, the Lakers, as we know, the Lakers are out of the playoffs. They are no longer in the playoffs for the 2022 season. In a way, I'm kind of glad because I got tired of seeing the train wreck. I got tired of hearing LeBron getting blamed for everything. I got tired of watching people kind of dump on or pour water on a drowning team at this point. The Lakers are out of the playoffs, and what they need to do is kind of dismantle the team, look at some trade options that they might have, and then get ready for next year. I do believe that with LeBron on the team, they can win another championship, but he is definitely going to need some help. Also, I want to say that LeBron, you're in year 19. You have accomplished something that no other man has been able to accomplish in the sport of basketball. You're averaging 30 points a game, 30 points per game in year 19. Jordan couldn't do it. Kobe couldn't do it. Kareem couldn't do it. Karl Malone couldn't do it. No one else could do it. So for all the people that have so much to say about LeBron is this and LeBron is that, the man averaged 30 points per game in year 19. So I don't know what else is expected of him. I don't know what else he can do to make the game better, make the team better. I really don't know. But it seems like something goes wrong, it's LeBron's fault. So we're going to go ahead and take that, LeBron. Keep playing your game. Keep doing what you're doing. I hope your dreams can come true where one day you get to play with your son on the Lakers or any other organization that's going to have both of you on the same team. That's a father's dream. I think any man in any sport would love to do something like that. So, hey, I'm still rooting for the Lakers. And LeBron, I'm hoping that you continue to have the success that you're having. In entertainment news, Will Smith. Will Smith was suspended from the Oscars for 10 years. He was suspended from attending the Oscars or any functions that the Oscars, the Academy Awards have for 10 years. I actually think that's a bunch of bull. I think it's a bunch of bull. The real punishment should be Will Smith should host the Oscars for the next 10 years. He should really host the Oscars for the next 10 years because that's torture within itself. Now, by him having the suspension, it does not mean that he can't do movies. It does not mean that he cannot win another Oscar. If he does a movie and it's worthy of him winning another Oscar, he'll still be able to get the Oscar, but he cannot attend the actual function. Again, if it was your favorite first cousin and I had to hand down the punishment, okay, Will Smith, for the next 10 years, you're going to host the Oscars. Anything that's going on with the Academy, you're going to host it. And that'll be the end of that. It doesn't include what Chris Rock is going to do. There's been no word from Chris Rock as far as if he's going to sue, is he going to take legal actions. From what I understand, he's just gathered a legal team to look at all of his options, and then we'll have to wait and see what happens. But hopefully they can resolve the issue that has been taking place, and hopefully they can both go on and live their lives. Okay. At this point of the show, we have what's called burnt grits. Burnt grits is something that really gets up on your skin, and I want to thank everyone who has come on and left their comments. First, I want to talk to Jared Johnson, my cousin. Hey, Jared, what's going on, man? How you doing? Hope you and your family are doing well, and I think you're in South Carolina at this point in time. Jared, what burns his grits is, I can't stand when people make excuses. Whatever you put into life is what you're going to get out of life. In order to earn, you must first learn. Jared, I have to agree with you 100%. Whatever you put in life, you're going to get out of it. There's an old saying that goes like this. For those who think that they can, they're right. And for those who think that they cannot, they're also right. So, Jared, I agree with you 100%. You can't stand it when people make excuses. Stop making excuses. Whatever in life it is you want to do, go out and do it. Don't make an excuse about it. Work hard at it, and dreams can come true. Trust me, I'm a living example of that. Second is Miss Angel Timmons. Hey, cousin, how you doing, Miss Angel? You do 100 things right, but the one thing you do wrong gets told. You can do 100 things right, but the one thing that you do wrong, it gets told. And unfortunately, that's the story of life. No matter how good a person can be, the one mistake that they may make along the way, that's the one thing that people remember about them. That's a very good point, Angel. Thank you so much. And Miss Griselda Blanco, grown liars. This is one thing that burns her grits is people who are adults who are still lying, not telling the truth about certain things that they're dealing with. Ms. Blanco, I do thank you for watching The Break Room. This is coming directly from your favorite first cuz. I do appreciate that. And we ask that you continue to watch The Break Room. Continue to support The Break Room. Go to YouTube, Bobby G Break Room. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for that support. And also on Facebook. You can catch me on Facebook, Bobby G's Break Room. Go to The Break Room. Leave me a message. Let me know what burns your grits. Let me know what gets up under your skin. Let me know some things that can be done or said that can make things a little bit better. Okay, today we have another great show lined up for you. We have a special guest that's going to be coming here. We're going to have a great conversation, and the topic is going to be ladies in law enforcement. Ladies in law enforcement. So on the other side of this commercial, we're going to have a special guest that's going to come on, and we're going to have a wonderful conversation. So what I'm asking you to do is stick and stay until we get back from this commercial break, and we'll see you soon. Okay, welcome everyone back from the commercial break. Today I have a special guest with me, and the topic we're talking about is ladies in law enforcement. Ladies in law enforcement, and I would like to introduce to you someone who is making major moves here in the city of Jacksonville, the River City. She's making major moves. She's doing big things, and she is going to change the way we're looking at law enforcement. I would like to introduce Miss LAKESHA Burton. She's a 22-year veteran of Jacksonville Police Department. She studied at University of Central Florida, and she also went to Wilson High School. She's a part of the Wolf Pack. Went to Wilson High School. Her and her husband, Gregory, who's a retired police officer, they have 5 children together, and she has taken her time to come and talk to your favorite first cousin here in the break room. Miss Burton, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I am excited to be on your show this morning.
Thank you so much for coming. We have so much that we want to talk about, and I want to go ahead and dive right into the conversation. Being in law enforcement, a female in law enforcement, that has to have its own set of, anxieties and concerns. Walk me through your first encounter when deciding to come into the police department.
Well, my very first encounter with a police officer was when I was 16 years old, and it was as a result of me reporting that I had been a victim of a sexual battery.
Okay.
So basically, I had been being sexually abused from the age of 11 to 14 years old. I got pregnant at 14, had a baby at 15 years old, and the abuse continued. So when I finally got up enough courage to tell what was happening, the police was called, and my very first encounter was with a female officer, and she told me that I was lying. So as you can imagine, I kind of shut down because, who else do you call when you're going through traumatic situations like that and when you've been a victim of a crime? So thank God there was another police officer there who showed me tremendous compassion. And I remember him saying, I'm going to make sure this man never touch you again. And that was the contact that was embedded in my mind, in my heart from that time. And I always thought, one day I want to be a police officer because I want to be that type of police officer that responds to people who have been victimized and at their lowest, and they encounter a police officer who cares and one who will make sure that they maintain their dignity. So, so the first encounter was bad, but in the same day, I met one of the best police officers that really inspired me to be a police officer like him.
Wow, that is amazing. Now, over your 22-year career, have you met someone who was in a similar situation that you were in, and you have been that voice of reason for them, that angel for them?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I tell people all the time, because I've been very open and transparent about my life story. And I share it, number one, because I want to bring hope to those who are hopeless and who have been silenced by the pain and embarrassment of any type of crime, especially one that is personal. So I've just been really blessed my entire career to respond to thousands of calls and talk to people who were experiencing things that I had already gone through. So, literally, that's why I've always gravitated to working and being in the trenches of in the communities all over our city, just really meeting the needs of people right where they are, because that's where I was met. So I certainly, every single thing that happened to me that was bad, God used it for good. Giving me the platform in the profession of law enforcement.
That is an amazing story. Now, your husband, Gregory, he's a police officer, also retired. Did you meet him, I guess, on duty while you were a police officer? Tell me about that story.
I did. And you got to bring me back on another day just to talk about that.
Oh, wow.
So I have one of the most amazing husbands. And literally, he was one of the best police officers and leaders in the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. He was a mentor to me. He served 26 years as a police officer. He retired as a chief. He was retired a year, but now he is the new police chief of the school board police department.
Okay.
Yes. So, but we did meet on the job. He'll tell anybody that I was the first police officer he ever dated.
Oh, wow. All right.
Yes.
That is
so we
good.
Did meet.
Yeah, that is good. You have two people in the same profession in the same household. I'm quite sure you have some very interesting stories over the dinner table.
We do. And I tell you, that is one of the challenges for women in law enforcement and in this real male dominant profession. I saw that over the years before I got married that, men were kind of intimidated, because perhaps because I carried a gun.
Well, that'll do it.
But there was some intimidating factors, and they just couldn't understand the concept and the nature of this job. So certainly when you are, married to someone in the same profession, it's just easier. You understand, you can talk about things, you can, strategize and talk things out. And I certainly learned a lot from my husband.
Absolutely. I think that's great. This is a wonderful story. Now let's go ahead and dive into why we're really here. Let's talk about you being the first African-American female who's running for sheriff for the city of Jacksonville. Now, as we know, Mike Williams, he's on his, last year of being in office, and you're the first one to make your nominee, your intentions known as you want to be sheriff. Tell me about your thought process and what made you get to that point where you say, okay, I want to be the sheriff of Jacksonville.
Yeah, so honestly, I did not spend my career thinking that I was going to run for sheriff. And I really started thinking about this after the George Floyd situation and just the dynamics of what happened to our world and what happened to law enforcement. And obviously, I knew that Mike Williams' term was up. And I began to think about what can I do to help to unify law enforcement in our community. Because, it was an eruption, although we have historically had a divide. I just believe that the divide widened, after the murder of George Floyd. So that's when I began to think about it. I'm an insider. I know all the people that would potentially run. And there was three things that I thought was very important for the next leader to run our sheriff's department. And I first thought, number one, we are in a time where we need a leader who's going to be bold and courageous and to be on the forefront. People in this city need to know who leads this agency. They need to know who the sheriff is. The sheriff needs to be walking these streets, going into these churches, going into these businesses, and being really present for our community and our police officers. But secondly, I thought the next person that steps up to lead this agency, it needs to be somebody who understands all people, all walks of life, all cultures, and who has literally been in the trenches of communities all over this city. And I just believe that our next leader needs to be somebody who has the capability and desire to begin to unify such a divided community. And then thirdly, I felt that the next leader needed to be somebody who has the respect of the men and women in blue. I'm talking about the people that are out here working hard every day in patrol. And the respect I'm talking about, not the respect because you have a position of rank or a title, but they respect you because they know that you won't compromise your integrity. And also they respect you because they know that you have a genuine love and concern for them and this community. So after I thought about those three things, God said, that's you. So once I did my homework, and it was not an easy decision. It was not. So I took several weeks of prayer and consecration and talking with, my family and my spiritual leader, our pastor. And God just made it very clear that this was a path for me. And I just went on faith, and I called my consultant the day before I filed. I said, listen, I'm ready. And he said, what? It's 2 years out. He said, well, you're taking a risk. I said, well, I'm a risk taker, Yeah. And I tell you, when you are operating in your calling and you believe that God's called you to do something, you go. And, it's been a blessing.
Hey, absolutely. I definitely applaud your story. And I like what you continually saying, your spiritual leader. You're talking about your Christian background, your Christian faith that has helped you to make these decisions. Have you had any pushback, any naysayers that say, well, you shouldn't do this. This is too dangerous. You shouldn't be in this high profile position?
Yes, absolutely. But I tell people, before I put on this uniform, I was already tough. I was strong. I was resilient. All the things that I have overcome in my life, I've heard all those things at a very young age, being pregnant, 14 years old, experiencing, drugs, alcohol, promiscuity, hopelessness, and homelessness. I heard people say she's never going to make it. She's never going to amount to anything. She has a baby. She's this, that, and the other. So I learned early on to really trust God, right? And so I had this armor built up. So I'm the type person, again, when I put my mind in something and I feel very strongly about something, I go for it. So certainly there are always going to be naysayers,
Absolutely.
But, you have to make sure that your inner voice is louder than the naysayers. And really, we will never get anything done. Change will never happen if we don't overcome our fears and block out the naysayers and go for it.
Absolutely.
So, yes. And I imagine Sid, I have a lot more to deal with on this journey. But certainly being a woman in law enforcement in this male dominant profession, early on, we've had to overcome so many different challenges and barriers. My race, my sex, my age, my political party, and the list goes on and on, So you learn how to break down those barriers and keep going.
Yeah. Over the past few years, the murder rate has been relatively high in the city of Jacksonville. The crime rate has kind of slowly increased in the city of Jacksonville. What are some of the changes you would like to see made in the city of Jacksonville once you are elected sheriff?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And so I can tell you, public safety is the number one concern in our city, and it should be. Our crime has ticked up and up. My Lord, we've been labeled as the murder capital.
Murder capital, yes.
The nation, So what I tell you is that last year we finally saw a breakthrough where we saw a 4% decrease reduction in crime citywide. But I'm proud to say that under my leadership as a zone commander in the Arlington Beaches area, our officers, we deliver a record-breaking 16% reduction. 16. That's never happened over there. So I'm talking about that's violent and property crime. We saw a 34% reduction in gunfire, 32% less murders, 33% less crimes against property, and 21% less home invasion robberies. And those are significant reductions in crime. I just believe that we can really replicate that citywide.
Okay, wow, those are very impressive numbers. You're making me feel safe by sitting here right now.
Yes, yes.
Okay, who would you like to partner with in the city of Jacksonville? And I'm going to continue to say once you become sheriff, because I do believe that that's your destiny. I do believe this is something that's going to happen for you. So once you become sheriff, who will be the first person that you would like to partner with in order to accomplish your goals?
Yeah, so obviously, in order for me and this agency to accomplish our goals, we have to, really begin to look at our community as our customers, right? Mm-hmm. Customer service is so important. So I see everybody as a partner, and we need everybody to see the police department as a partner. Mm-hmm. It can no longer be us against you. It has to be we working together. So I believe that building strong relationships and partnerships and collaborations are essential. So in any area, I think that, we have to show and present ourselves as an entity, an organization that want to be partners, because truth of the matter is, and we've heard it a long time, the police department can't do it alone. Right. We can't arrest our way out of our issues. Partnerships are important. I'll just give you an example of a great partnership. Definitely mental health has been a hot topic, and it should be, and we should be talking more and more about mental health. We've come a long way in terms of how we even deal with it from a law enforcement perspective. But partnering with our mental health professionals, I was very instrumental in creating and bringing a program here at the sheriff's office that we have right now. It's called a co-responder program. Okay. And what it is that we have licensed mental health counselors riding the beat with police officers full time. So we started this about 2 years ago. We did 1 year pilot with one officer with the mental health counselor, and it showed tremendous positives. It's not a new program because, agencies across the country, they use it. So okay. I was just glad that we are being more proactive and progressive in terms of, doing and modeling some of the models that other agencies are doing. But now we've been able to expand that program to 12 now, all over the city. So I just think that's a win-win, because as police officers, we're trained in mental health, crisis intervention, but there's nothing like having a professional with you. Right. And I'll just give you an example. So right before I retired, we had an older gentleman threatening to cut his wrist, and he was barricaded in the bathroom. So the officer did a good job trying to de-escalate him, keep him calm until the licensed mental health counselor got there. So it took about 30 minutes for that person to get there. But once she got there, it took 5 minutes for her to do her thing and get him out safely. And we were able to get him some help. And at the end of the day, every police officer wants that outcome. So that's what I'm talking about, partnerships. Partner with our community, our faith base, our business, our community, the city, everybody to help us better serve our community. And that's a win-win. So everybody is a partner to law enforcement.
Absolutely. That is definitely a win-win. How can we make race relations better in the city of Jacksonville?
That's a great question. And I can tell you, it is a question that when I first filed, that was a question, First, I want to say that we do have racial issues. We have to really, number one, we have to start talking about these issues, and concerns and perceptions and people experiences. They're real. I know as a Black woman, I've had my own experiences as a Black woman and also as a Black woman with 3 Black sons. So I just think that the whole idea that we're not going to talk about it, it only prolongs the issues. And I just think that, having open, honest dialogue is important. That's something that I've always done. A matter of fact, after the situation with George Floyd, I sat down and I talked with majority of the officers that were under my command in the Arlington area for several months. And we had these organic, authentic conversations. And 95% of my officers are Caucasian males. And 100% of them say, Chief, why don't we talk about this? Yeah. This was helpful. It was helpful for me. So when you do that, you just kind of find this common ground. And I just think it's important for leaders, particularly, to create spaces within your organization where people feel that they can be vulnerable and share their experiences and stuff. So, and I also think that self-reflection for all of us, no matter what color we are, to see, maybe where are our blind spots? How can I be better? How can I contribute to helping bridge the gap between our relationships? And obviously more education, more communication, more exposure, more bringing awareness. So I just think that, again, back to partnerships and partnering with agencies and perhaps professionals who teach race relations, all of that. We just got to continue to embrace all of it. But we have to get to the point where we all recognize and acknowledge this is a problem, and we have to fix it. And I'm just committed as a person, on a personal level and my professional level, of being a part of that solution in true, real, needed conversation.
Yes, I agree with you 100%. Now, as you know, there are so many African-American women that has done major things in our society. First, we look at Michelle Obama. She's the first African-American First Lady of the United States. Then we have currently our Vice President of the United States, the first female who's African-American, Kamala Harris. She's doing a wonderful job there. Then we have Ms. Ketanji Brown Jackson, who's just been nominated for the Supreme Court. Now, once you become sheriff of the River City here in Jacksonville, in my opinion, I put you in the same class, the same category as those ladies there. Now, what message would you like to send to the young ladies of color that are looking to get into law enforcement? What message would you want to send to them?
Well, I am so very happy and inspired by the achievements of those African-American women, and even the ones that are local that have really paved the way for me. So certainly it is encouraging to see people that look like me achieving such greatness. But also what's more inspiring to me is to see their walk, after overcoming, tremendous challenges, to see their grit and their grace. That's more inspiring for me. So what I would tell young girls and what I tell women is, what I had to learn is to identify what my gifts and talents were and really understand the purpose that God had for me and find my voice, and then you go. Right. So I just think there's such liberation when you are living out your gifts and you're in a space where you believe that God has put you. So, the message is, what we always hear, and it's not cliche, you can literally be anything that you want to be. And my life, I'm a living example, all that I had gone through in my life. And I tell people that I'm a living example that your past doesn't have to define who you are. And it doesn't have to define your future. So that's why I've always been really adamant about sharing a lot of the intricate details of my journey, my lifehood journey, because, I want people to see, look, I've been there. I've been at the place where I literally didn't want to live anymore. I wanted to end my life. And so, thank God. Right. Yeah. So I just think that, identify what that is and you just go for it, and I just think that it's important that we don't listen to those naysayers, and you surround yourself with people that are like-minded, that are going to lift you up, having a support system that's unbelievable, and girls, and particularly women, who want to see the best in you and won't be envious and jealous, So just all those things we can just talk about. But I just think it's important that whatever it is that your heart's desire is, you go for it, because if you do that, you will live a life of liberation. And that's what I do every day, doing what I've always wanted to do as a young girl. So it's so refreshing and fulfilling. And the fact that I get to impact people's lives every single day in a positive way, it's just, it validates me.
Yeah, absolutely. And just by having this conversation with you, you can kind of feel it through your spirit. You definitely are liberated. You're definitely in a good place, and you definitely have a lot of support. Where can people support you?
Oh, I like that question. So on my website, burtonforsheriff.com. It's my number. All the information is on there, the contact number. So a lot of literature on there about me and ways to get involved. burtonforsheriff.com.
Okay, and everything I need to know, if I'm just a newcomer and if I'm happen to watch the break room and I see this here, I can just go to burtonforsheriff.com, and everything I need to know about you as far as supporting you, when and where to vote, because when it's time to vote, even though we're about a year out, will all that information be on the website?
Yes, certainly that. And also, I'm really pushing petitions. Every candidate can either qualify by getting 6,642 petitions or paying $10,000. So petitions are people to me. Every person voice matters. So I chose to go the petition route. So if anybody's listening would like to fill out a petition, they can do that on my website as well. Okay. And also people have an opportunity to contribute to this historic campaign.
Okay. And that's what I was getting at also. I think that's important also because anytime you make any kind of movement, you're going to need people to contribute in multiple ways. So I think that's very important.
Absolutely. And I'll just tell you, just so I'm talking to you. So yesterday I just hit $1 million in donations.
Oh, wow. All right.
Over $1 million. Yes. Wow. So I'm excited. So you're the first one to know.
All right. And guess what?
I'm
sorry, go ahead.
And I'm so excited. I'm so blessed because there's a paradigm shift happening, and that's a lot of money. From what I understand, I'm the first Democratic sheriff candidate to ever raise this kind of money. Mm-hmm. But what I'm most proud of is that we have the most diverse support across all demographics, ages, sex, races, socioeconomic status, and political party. I'm telling you. So I'm very proud of that. And it speaks to what I talked about earlier about the next sheriff that leads this agency. It needs to be somebody who has the ability to begin to unify, because we're so very divided. And it's time for us to come together so we can work together to address the issues that have been plaguing our city for far too long.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, what message would you like to leave with your listeners?
Well, just from the lens of a professional law enforcement officer for over 23 years, law enforcement has become overly politicized at a detriment of police departments across this country. And I believe that it has caused a divide within our agency as well. And I want people to know that although I'm a registered Democrat, law enforcement should be nonpartisan. When you call 911, you are not requesting a Democratic police officer, independent police, or a Republican police officer. You are requesting a well-trained professional police officer to come and serve you. So I just believe that we have to get back to what matters. And what matters is that we have an agency that is focused on service to the people. So I have said from day one, although I'm the first woman to run for sheriff in Jacksonville, I'll be the first Black woman sheriff in the state of Florida and only the 6th in the United States. I'm excited about that, but that is not the highlight. So it's not about prestige for me. It's not about political party. We just talked about the party, and it's not about power. We all have seen how people have misused power, so it's not about prestige, political party, or power. It is truly about the people. And anybody that knows me know that from day one, when I took an oath to serve and protect our community, that's what I've been doing from day one. And that's what I want to continue to do as the next sheriff. It is certainly about the people.
All right. Well, once you become sheriff, the break room, we will still be here. I'm definitely going to invite you.
Break room.
I'm going to invite you to come back and we can talk about those experiences that you've had once you got in office and got situated. I know your time is very, very limited and everything that you do is very precise. So I'll make sure I don't take up a whole lot of your time. One last thing I want to ask you before I let you go. Please tell me about your experience while you were on the Harry Connick Jr. show.
The Harry Connick Jr. show. So I had the privilege, and I didn't know who Harry was when they called me. So again, I've been really open and transparent about sharing my life story for over 20 years. And so my story has been written in books and magazines and online. And the Harry Connick Jr. show saw my story on a Christian online magazine, and they reached out to me, and they chose me as the leading lady because of the work that I was doing in the community here locally. So they flew me up to New York, and they wanted to, recognize me for that work. Unbeknownst to me, they remember early when we started your show that I opened up about that, my first encounter with a police officer.
Yes.
I had the negative, but then at the same time I had the positive.
Yes.
That officer, Victor Jefferson, he inspired me to be this police officer. Well, they knew about that story, and they secretly flew him up there to reunite me with him. You talking about coming full circle, right? Mm-hmm. And the interesting thing is that when I became a police officer, I looked for him. I went and pulled all my police reports from archive because I wanted to see what his name was. And I looked for him for a whole year and I didn't see him. And here in Jacksonville, we have our names on our police cars. And I sat one day looking for him because I saw his car and it was empty. So after an hour of sitting in my car, I walked into the police memorial building and I asked the security, I said, do you know Victor Jefferson? Because I didn't know what he looked like. I just remember him being a tall African-American man. And they said, you just passed him. So I ran outside. He was out of his uniform and I was a new recruit, so a rookie. So I was nervous and I stopped him and I was shaking. My voice was shaking and I know he thought I was crazy. And I said, excuse me, officer. I said, my name is Keisha. I said, you have always been my angel. You helped me in a critical time in my life. That's all I said to him. Yeah. You know what he said to me?
What?
He said, are you the girl from Havana Avenue? He remembered the street that he responded to all of those years. And we just hugged and we connected. But that is truly the power of police, being a police officer. So I want to make sure that all of our officers understand the power that we have, right? To either leave a lasting positive impact or a negative impact. Right. And the positive is so good and it's life-changing. Literally, Officer Jefferson, he changed my life. And now here I am, 40 years later, I'm running to be the top cop in Jacksonville.
Wow, look at how God is working in your life. That is an amazing story. Now, that show, can it be viewed on YouTube?
It can, yes.
Okay, I'll make sure.
I'll send it to you.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, this has been a great show, and I want to take the time to thank you for our first female African-American sheriff of the city of Jacksonville, Ms. Burton. I do appreciate you coming on. I thank you so much, and Godspeed to you and to your family. I ask that you continue to do the things that you have been doing. You are a trailblazer in our community, and you definitely have my support, and I look forward to the day that it's announced. I know it's going to be kind of crazy and the whole nine, but I'll make sure I'll be sending you a message saying, hey, congratulations to you. And at some point in time, we can grab a coffee, we can talk about it, and we can continue to move forward doing positive things in our community. Ms. Burton, thank you so very much. You have a great day.
Thank you.
All right.
You too. Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye-bye. Okay, thank you for coming back from commercial break. Wow, this was a great show today with Miss LAKESHA Burton. Thank you. She's going to be, in my opinion, the first African-American female sheriff for the River City, the city of Jacksonville, and we definitely have the support. We're going to ask that you continue to go to her website and give her support. Go wherever she is on social media, on Facebook, on YouTube, and give her the support that she needs, because she is making some major moves here in the city of Jacksonville. She is creating history, and like I said, I put her in the same category as the Michelle Obamas, the Kamala Harris, and I just think that she's going to do great things starting here in the city of Jacksonville. For your favorite first cousin here at the Break Room, I can be reached at BobbyGBreakroom@gmail.com. Please send me an email. Let me know what you think about the show. Also on YouTube, go to YouTube, Bobby G Break Room. See the icon that you see in the back? Click on the icon, hit the like button, and I'm asking that you also hit the subscribe button so you can see what's going on each and every week here in the Break Room. Also on Facebook, go to Facebook, Bobby G's Break Room. Go to Facebook, hit the like button, share the story. Let's spread the word about what's going on in a positive way with Miss LAKESHA Burton in the city of Jacksonville, and also with your favorite first cousin here in the city of Jacksonville. And before I end the show, I want to say this here. Again, no matter what your goals and your dreams are, go for it. Go for your goals, go for your dreams, and live the life you love, but more importantly, love the life you live. And this is coming from your favorite first cuz. Until next time.